pop down at the bottom here, but I made a little typo, so let's fix that. And yeah, so that's better, just to keep everything neat and tidy. I'm going to take this folder, bring it over here where you actually can't see it, and drop it on the Lightroom icon. So, and this is my go-to app for image processing, and I use this on basically a daily basis. So for catalogs, I create a new one every month. So you can. I find that if you have tens of thousands of photos in it, it just bogs them down, and I very very rarely go back and look at stuff again. So but we'll import that, and there's a shot from the grad from last night. So the last photo there. Get into a library here, and Queens, and you can see here's our grad, the Pride, which was a week ago, and Queens. So we'll just click on that. So and go back to develop. Now we want to select. We're going to apply some stuff to it as globally for all the photos. Okay, all. So collect all. Now over here, your color profile is really critical. And they come in by default in Adobe Color, which I don't particularly like, and I don't like. And you can see there's a bunch of different ones here. I use Portrait for the most part, um, just because it's a little bit more vibrant, but it's not blown out like the landscape is. And you'll see these change on as you cycle through it. But we will set it for Portrait, and it already looks better. Now, white balance. This is as shot, and the reason why I always leave the camera on the automatic white balance is it will give you an automatic thing that'll come in here. You can always go back to it. But I have some preset stuff that I can use. Like there's 5,000 kill. So none of those are going to work. 57 is basically daylight. So that's a neutral color. But that actually doesn't look so bad. It is way too magenta, so I'll send that back to 0. It looks, add a little green, and then yeah. So if basically one is kind of the neutral point, and 3,500. There you go. So but we will come. Oh, geez. And you know what I've done is I've set it for the whole thing. So my mistake. Anyways, let's Command D is undo it, and we'll do this. We're going to go back and reset all of it in a second. So we're at 3,500 K and +1 tint. The exposure is looking good. I almost always drop the highlights and raise the tones, just because you can, and it doesn't hurt it. And I add a little bit of highlights and drop the lowlights down here. So yeah, you can see there's a little eyeball tool, and you can see the before and after. So that's looking okay. Now, saturation and vibrance. Vibrance is just a more modern version of saturation. So give it 20. That looks good. And these are about where my neutrals are. And then down here in I think it's transform. Yeah. Nope, not transform. It is effects. Yeah. We'll give it a post crop vignetting. And I always give it minus 15, the default. And you can see it just, the edges burned down. And the really beautiful thing about this is that if you crop it, it resets the vignette. So, so yeah, whoever came up with this idea is deserves a medal. Okay, so that's about my neutral point, and one of the great things about Lightroom is that you can make presets, and I actually created one with all of this stuff except for the tone curve here, because for a lot of things like conference photos, they want them flat and dull. But I created this. And we'll go back to selecting it all, because what'll happen is it'll apply these settings to the whole group of photos, and it doesn't affect. We'll go back to S shot, but that is the neutral. Okay, so let's see. Start point. Boom. Applies it all, and it just takes a second to go because changing up the the profile takes a little bit of math. So there we go. Done. So that's everything. Now, you can see this one still has the curve, but I actually have a S curve setting, so we'll just apply that to the whole thing. So, and then we'll give it the edge burn. So, and that's for everything. So there's our neutral point, and so that's a good place to start. Okay, so Command R, or just R if you hit it, is the crop tool. Don't be afraid to use this liberally. It looks better. And we are looking at what, 3,500 and 1. And you can see I also have a little tool here that is called Wide Gamut. It does nothing but move those over, so it really widens the thing. You don't want to move these two sliders all the way over, because what happens is that it starts to really break apart. So that's about as wide as you ever want to go. That looks better already. And if you hit, there we go. You can check the focus, and we will give that a red. Just to save ourselves having to apply the tone curve to everything, we'll hit this button again. I must have not hit it for some reason. And you can see, boom, there it is. That makes it look better already. So, okay. And yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Let's bring these highlights down as much as we dare. And we'll bring that up. And we can, since we brought up the shadows, we can drop the exposure a bit. And, oops. Yeah, you got to be careful not to set two points here, because then you turn this nice S curve into something really scary. So just click on that and delete the control point. And we will, you can see it turns into this, and you just grab that little key and up she goes. Nice. And and we don't have any vignetting in here either. Don't know why it didn't apply. So there we go. That's looking better. And okay. So we are going to do a little bit of, I'm going to make a copy of that. And it's an identical copy. And we're going to bring up these colors here a bit. For this is it. And then we're going to make another copy of this guy. bring this way down. And we're just trying to tweak this. There we go. So all we're looking at this. Now we're going to do a little magic. So there's 3 copies of that. Call it yellow. So give it a color rating. And the reason for this is we're going over to Photoshop. I'm going to take a little. So we're going to open that as layers in Photoshop. And that just take a second. Oh, hang on. We're using a laptop and an external monitor here, so it came up on the other window. So bring that up. Photoshop is the Mac Daddy of image processors. So, okay. Let's give us enough room to work. Now, I always want to have the, you can come over here to the, this is opened all of these 3 shots as layers. I always like the dark one on top. So that's our smoke layer. So let's turn that off. And that is our audience layer. So turn these guys on. And you don't normally have to do this, but I always, just out of habit, because you might have moved something, is auto align the layers. Oh, I think it's over here someplace. I have all of this stuff set on image. There is it. Lock layers. I got it all. Anyways, tell you what, we'll work on that. I'll explain how it works the other day, but if I have a Photoshop action set, it's Shift 11, and it just auto aligns that. And if you come up to the history here, there you go, auto align layers. So now they're all lined up. So if you hit the Option key and the layer mask, which is this guy, it will blank that out. And we're going to blank this one out too. See, that's way too bright. So, and what this has done is it's like a sheet of cellophane over like a piece of artwork in an old print shop, and we've blanked it, and now we're going to take that away. So we're going to open up a brush, and if you come in here, you'll see there's a white and a black. It goes to white, black automatically. We're going to change that to white, and the X key will just do that automatically. So that's what I do. And if you press Control and Option at the same time, you can control the size of the brush, like left to right is the size, and then up and down is the hardness. So pick a maximum soft brush, and a pretty good size. And we're just going to dial in some of this. So, boom, there we go. That looks better. And now we want the smoke. So this is all blown out here. So we're gonna do the same thing. And you see how this, you can see the white. So that's letting that section of this image shine through. Okay. There we go. That's looking pretty nice. And, but let's, we painted over our performer in the black. So we'll change that to black and lighten her up. And then we'll go back to black again. So we'll hit the X, hit the white, and we'll open that up. There we go. Okay. So you can see the difference. All right. That's looking good. Now we're going to open up some controls here. These are adjustment layers. Rather than doing adjustments to the photo itself, you can do these in. You can add it here, and it just comes in as a on top as a layer. So first thing you always do is levels. Uh, so we've already got a bunch of blown out stuff here. So let's just pull up the block here. That looks good. And now we're going to open up curves. So I do this so often, I actually have a Photoshop action set for it. So we'll add that classic S curve in here. Nice. So except for these hotspots back here, it's all looking inside our gamut. Now that's looking pretty good, and we're gonna. So next thing I do is go to town. So sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. So we're gonna open up another curves layer, and we are gonna like really do the job on the smoke here. So down, 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 and then up, up, up. Okay. So click on the layer, Command I. So it's black. And you see Command I just changes it. So that's the layer. Now, if you just did this to the entire image, you can see what it's done. It's just looks horrible. So we're only going to apply that to the smoke. So I. Okay. So we're going to pick a big brush, really big brush. That's 2,300 pixels. And make sure it's on white. And we're just going to paint that in. Okay. So nice. So we're kind of messed up on our work up here. So we're going to turn that to black and just cover that up. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is bring out this detail in here. So, oops, sorry, wrong key again. We need another curves layer. And we're not looking at this or this. We're just looking at this. Okie dokie. We'll raise that up, and then we'll drop that a hair. Okay. Back into, we'll fill it. Make sure our brush is set to white, not black. And here we go. And we don't want to apply it to this where it's blown out here. So we'll go back to black and just paint the detail in. Okay, the next. And you can use all kinds of precision tools, but I find the best thing, I came from printing stuff by hand in darkrooms, so this is what we would call a dodge and burn tool. So you just paint it in. Very nice. And then you can adjust it afterwards too, right? So that's good. And let's just lift that up. So yeah, really nice. Okay. So I'm liking that. And you can see if you go back to the original full shot that we imported, we'll just turn all of these layers off. That's what it looked like. So turn them all, if we go back in, we got that, 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 and that. So it's pretty crazy, but it's not bad. Now, this is a 16-bit, so you need to change that. To save that as a JPEG, which is what I do for almost everything, you come in over here and you flatten the image here. And then you have to go in and change it. I actually have have that set on a. You have to change the bit depth because JPEGs will only save an 8-bit. So, but and I will go into this another video. I use a lot of Photoshop actions, and I have a flatten the image and change it to 8-bit. That's rigged to my F13 key on my keyboard. Done. So we can do a save as, and let's just sorry, that just came in the other window. Okay, so we got Queens photos. All right, and Photoshop always puts this stupid edit thing in, and I hate it. But and if you haven't changed it from 16 to 8 bits, the JPEG won't show up here. So you could save it as a TIFF file or a Photoshop doc, a PSD, but it just takes a lot of room up, and I never go back to them. So okay, so bring our options in here. I use 10 as a compression standard. It's what I've done for a million years, and it always seems to work. So okay, we will apply sharpening to the whole folder once we're done. When we bring out our other photos from Lightroom. So that one is done. I would close it, but this stuff on the back wall here bugs me. The color is really horrible, and there's no way to fix that except, and here is we are going to show you how to fix horrible. Okay. Oh, I did all his layer visibility stuff. Okay. So we're back into, we've added all of this back in, gone back to a 16-bit, and I am going to come up here and pick black and white. Boom. Now we're cooking. So, and we are going to change. Okay. You can, rather than curves 2, 3, you can put in what the system does. I don't, and I should. Okay, so that's our top corner. We need to increase that contrast considerably. You don't want to do that, but there we go. Actually need another layer for that. And I have, to add a curves layer, I actually have a Photoshop action. It's just the F2 key for me because I do this nonstop. And we are going to, down here are our dark tones. And we're going to lift that up and really lift that up. Okay. I'm going to pick a small brush and just, you'd have a tough time doing this in color, but it works in black and white. There we go. Nice. Maybe bring that dark tones in a bit. Okay. And then I think that looks good. And this smoke can definitely do with another one. So we'll give it another curves layer. And I like where that's at. I like where the high tones are, which are up here. So we're going to put an anchor point in and drag that down a bit. And maybe just up a hair. We don't want to blow that out. So let's say if you did this in color, you'd really be hurting. So that's this part of the smoke. And let's add another one. So we're starting to really get in here. And what we want to do is bring this detail up, which is right in the middle. So there's that. Okay. We'll fill that. And yeah. Now we're cooking. Look at that. And that looks nice. And what we've got is this gigantic bunch of layers in here. You could save this, but I mean, the size of the file would be astronomical. So, as I say, we'll just flatten it and save it. So, photos. Oh, that should be Queen's photos as well. And we'll just add a black and white. When you have different versions in in Lightroom, it'll just add a 1 or a 2 or whatever. But I don't know. I like the black and white. It tells me what it is. So, okay. So we'll close that guy out and close the window. And the reason for the yellow is when we export out of Lightroom, we'll export all the red ones and we'll leave all the yellow ones because we've already worked those. And I don't know, got that one already. So that's our 30. It's actually the as shot is 35 plus 1. Let's just add a little bit of exposure to that and see what happens. Ah, nice. How's our pro? Oh, okay. We'll add this slightly higher. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Crop that down. Nice. And give it a little extra. Yeah, looking not so shy. Okay, so here's our fog problem. And you can, what we've done is the what should be black is now gray because there's a bunch of like gray colored fog between the camera and the subject. So you can see on our histogram up here, it has pushed this all over. So to fix that, we'll take this black pip, the one at the bottom, and move it there. And you can see it's just moved over. But what's happened is we have an anchor point, so we don't need that. There we go. And, you know, S-curve should be a really nice S-curve. Boom. And now we have 3 nearly identical shots. So if you click on this, and you have to have this little auto sync button keyed, but you can just basically set everything together. So that's good. We'll lighten it up a hair and add a little contrast. And that looks pretty darn good. How's our, oh yeah, let's give it 3,500. Seems to be the, and what's happening here is that there's a bunch of magenta coming in because of this wall. So the automatic color balance is reading this and trying to filter that greenish yellow out. But so we'll set it to 1. That looks good. And since we're going to keep them all, we'll set them all to red. Okay, delete that. Or not delete it, but unselect it. That looks good. And I am just going to turn this one to black and white. And I like that, so give it some more contrast. Okay, I like that shot. Ah, beautiful light in this old building. So we'll straighten it up a bit. Isn't going to straighten all the way because we have a bunch of actually, let me lose this performer here. That looks good. Give it the higher edge burn. Yeah, I'm liking that. And we'll add a little contrast in. And I think the color is spot on. So that looks good. Okay, so here's our, well, it's yellow. See how 3,500 works. That is a pretty accurate color balance, but it doesn't look so great. So why don't we try a little bit more yellow? And you can see that it's looking pretty good. So, and you can see all this yellow in here is throwing our tint off, but it's about where it should be. You can see how much green is in there. Actually, let's go back to as shot. And we'll just factor out a little yellow here. Yeah, pretty good. So, okie dokie. Okay. Oops. That looks good. I'm going to call this one a yellow one and make another version of this and open up our performer to get a little bit more detail in here. Okay, so you could use a dodge tool, the mask overlay, but it's not gonna hold it. It's gonna look like it's just gonna look awful. So we'll open it as layers in Photoshop. And we'll flip this over. Do our little auto align just to make sure it's lined up. If these get off, what happens is that you'll get a little double image thing. So Photoshop is pretty good at automatically just balancing this stuff. So we're gonna put a filled, click on that. And this is the layer mask. If you mouse over it, it'll give you a little explanation on it. So, but if you hit that as an option, it'll just come in automatically as black. You don't have to change it. And now we have our brush tool is this guy up here. And if you hit the B key, it just goes to that. And then it's set for white. And let's, there we go. A classic, and we'll really go wide on here. Okay. So that's not looking too bad. Looking a little overblown. So let's a little black in there. And just so it's not haloed. Nice. So that looks good. And here's what I mean about how much I use the curves and the levels. Is I actually have a Photoshop action, which is the start point F1, which is that, and we are just applying levels. And we'll go up here and look at this. Well, levels is here. In Lightroom, it's the same palette as curves, and this one it's too different. So we need all the lights. So we'll run that over. But that looks pretty good. And then I have this set as a little slide as curve, and it's looking pretty not too bad. So, and then we'll open up another curves thing and see if we can get a little bit more detail out of the performer here. And this time we're going to use a really small brush. Oops. So we're up to like, and you can see we're picking up like a ton of noise from this, but I don't mind it so much. There we go. Just on the sash. Not too bad. So let's, and these are, you'll see the, like if you click on that, oops, I just doubled that. So we don't need that curves layer. We'll just drag it off to the trash. So they just changed this in the last version. So used to be you could click on it and it would tell you what it does. But anyways, those are my actions. I don't use a lot, but the ones I do, I use a lot. Just close it up. So we're going to flatten that and save it. So get rid of this stupid edit thing. Okay, now we'll go back into our this little palette, and yeah, so we're back where we started, and add some black and white to it because I think this one really lends itself to a black and white image. So there we go. Now we're cooking. So, and you want to leave that black and white on the top always, because when you start moving, like, it's still a color image. So when you start adjusting curves and stuff, you get color shifts. So you want to keep the whole thing in black and white. So we're going to add another curve in there and just blow down this background here. So we'll bring down the dark parts of it, and we'll bring up the light parts, except for here where it's blowing out. But oh shit! Oh yeah, we're gonna fill that and just paint this in. Mm, nice. And then we want something for this, like, kind of block. So we'll add another layer, another curves pattern. Bring it way down, and fill it. Nice. So we're just in this little spot here. Nice. And we'll just make sure we're not hitting her. So turn it back to, you can see the this is back to black, and then we'll do the same thing on this one. Okay. Nice. That is a real old timey Life magazine black and white image. Okay. Have our exposure a little bit down. Down a bit more. Nice. Like that. That one's the same. Sometimes I have a couple shots that are the same. I'll just rather than make a duplicate for for a black and white, I will we'll just straighten that guy out and crop a little bit in. I'll just turn one to black and white. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. A little dodge front of this a bit. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I like that. Uh, you know, she's got much darker skin than the other performers. So if you made it black and white, she's going to disappear against the, well, or maybe she won't. Boy, that looks pretty good. So sometimes you get, okay. Oh, I really like that. Okay. Tell you what, let's make a copy and black and white it. Okay, that's not what I expected, but it's pretty. Okay, let's see what we can do with this one. Oops, really messed that up. Okay, so pull the shadow details back up. Oh, wait a minute. I don't like that. Yeah, I actually like that shot. And a little bit of contrast. Boom. Nice. Okay. Crop this guy first. It's a little not so straight. Got a nice, cool looking lens flare in it. And we'll take a little contrast down. I think that one's a black and white. Yes. There we go. Okay. So we need to get into Photoshop with this guy. So call it a yellow. And duplicate it. And let's get a little detail on the front of her. Okay. So, oh, these menus are a right click. So, in case anybody hadn't figured that one out. All right. So that's our base shot that we want it to look like. So we'll pull the top one up. Click them both. Auto align. Okay. We're going to put them in. Put a small brush and just a little of this detail in here. Okay. Now we need, let's do a start point. Yeah, we actually need to bring the weights up a bit. And the black can go back. Actually, the black can. Yeah, that's looking good. And yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's add a little bit of just, you can see this is washed out from, so we're going to add some extreme high contrast in here just to fix it up. There we go. Bring out her costume. Oh, no, that's too much. Okay, X back to black, and we'll just cover that back up. And that is, I think we can probably, oh, it's good. Let's just, it's C for crop in Photoshop. And let's just bring this in. Oh yeah, we want a ratio. Original ratio, that's what we want. There's no real reason to use this other than I just like using it. So let's bring this down a bit. There we go. That looks nice. And we'll just flatten it and Ah, this guy. I liked him. All right, let's crop it down. That's better. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Try black and white. Yeah, okay. Definitely got a punk look to it. Yeah. Try the harder edge burn. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, I think color is the one for that. There's a lot of pink. Yeah. All right, this one has some possibilities. Give it a crop. Okay. Like black and white for sure. Okay. All right. We're going to do one last blast into Photoshop this one. Make a duplicate. Yeah, that's better. Okay. That's our base. Do both. Give, well, just align that. Shouldn't really need to align it, but okay. Here's our brush tool. We want a nice big one for this one. Somebody's hand up here, so let's just drop that down. And yeah, I like that.